Hello there. I am very burnt, so excuse this. I'm so burnt. But I just want to do a little update about how transfer went and everything like that, and just basically tell you guys what's going on. So I did manage to film like little bits here and there, but honestly I was like a mental case, you know, during a big majority of it, where I was just kind of living in a bubble, like zoned out. And when I did randomly think to record sometimes, it was not very coherent. So I'm just gonna give a little introduction now. So I was planning on not testing. I did not want to test. And then I had like a mental breakdown at 8 days past transfer because my beta was 9 days past transfer. And in my head, I started like going like, oh my God, I don't want to get the negative call from my nurse. I'd rather know myself. So that's what this clip is. I'm just losing my mind mentally and debating whether to test. I'm trying to think if I should like test or not, and I don't know. Don't mind the AC, this is a last minute video we're recording. It's really hot, so I can't turn the AC off, but it's loud, I know. But I'm trying to decide if I should test or not. I kind of don't want to test because I just kind of want to bask in the pregnant until proven otherwise. But tomorrow is my first beta, so I kind of feel like it's a matter of nerves. Like, would I rather just know tonight, or would I rather find out from the nurse on the phone? So I have one first response. I don't know what to do. And as you can see, I didn't even know what was going on. I just literally put the camera on and was like trying to get myself to come up with an answer, basically. And in this next clip, I come back after seeing the test. Again, apologize for the sound. I can't turn the air off. It's too hot. But I just had to freak out and cave and decided to test. And I wasn't going to test at all. I was just going to go into my beta and like that was going to be it. I was going to find out that way. But I started having anxiety about finding out like if it was negative from my nurse. I just didn't want that. I'd rather know. So I took a test and it did come out positive. And can you see the line? So let's just see what the betas are tomorrow. I'm very happy, but I was having time with my husband. We were just like looking at it because when you're waiting for the test to get darker and you don't see the line there and you're like staring at it, like at first I thought it was negative. It was just like, where is it? And then it popped up. But I'm very excited. I think tomorrow will make it more real. I was comparing everything to my last pregnancy and the last chemical pregnancy before that. So I was like in this mental state of like comparing things, which was stupid. And after like, you know, going through everything I went through last year, I constantly go to the negative thoughts first, which is not healthy. But I did go to beta the next day and the beta was good. And I talk about the betas in this clip here. Don't mind that trash bag right there. I was planning on vacuuming and like emptying out the little vacuum container thing as I'm going around, but I had no energy to vacuum. So it's just sitting there and I haven't done anything at all because I'm exhausted. But anyway, I just wanted to give a really quick update. So I did go in for my beta on Wednesday. It was 9 dpt and my beta was 190, which is, yes, I'm so happy about that. So my nurse called, she let me know it was 190, and then she told me to come in 48 hours later, which would be 11 dpt, just to make sure that the beta increased by 66%, and it did. So 66% would have been like 315, but it rose all the way to 527, so it was fantastic. So my beta at 90 dpt was 190, and 11 dpt was 527. So now I come back in almost a week from today. Today's Saturday. I go in on Friday, and that would be like the 5-week ultrasound just to see if there's a gestational sac and a yolk sac and all that. And then I go back the next week for an ultrasound to see a heartbeat. So I'm just crossing my fingers, hoping it sticks, hoping it sticks. But I will say this, if I would have tested earlier than 8 days past transfer, I probably would have been negative. So if you're someone who's going through the 2-week wait and if you test and it's negative and it's like early, just don't get down on yourself. Just know that it could just be far too early. Like, all of our bodies are different. I'm super tired. I haven't felt this tired in ages. I have to go get ready for church and it's still super hot here. I know it's like every transfer video I do, I'm like, it's hot here, but it's super hot. and I think we're gonna go to Bushkill Falls on Monday, which is like the Niagara Falls of Pennsylvania. And then on Tuesday, my husband wants to go to the beach to go fishing. But it's supposed to be like 95 on Tuesday, so we'll see. I think it's hotter than it's been in like years. It hasn't been this hot in at least 5 years. Hasn't, no way. Not in New Jersey. But anyway, praying everything goes well with the ultrasound. But as for now, very pregnant, very grateful. We'll keep you posted. After beta, I passed the time by going on little adventures. So like where we live, we're very close to like Philadelphia. I think we're like an hour and 20 minutes from Philadelphia, an hour from the Poconos, an hour to New York, an hour to a beach. So like we're in a really good location. So I wanted my husband to experience Bushkill Falls. It's a beautiful place in PA because I went there when I was a kid and I loved it. So we went to Bushkill Falls, super hot, and I also got bit by like this fly. It was this big thing because the fly was still in the car. And who would believe you if you told someone a fly bit you and it was hurt and it was painful? But this fly bit me. Do I still have a welt on my arm? Wait, let me see. Do I still have a welt? I still have the welt from the fly. Look at that. Look at that. It attacked me. It burned. And then I told my husband, I'm like, I know this fly is in the car. And it was this big ordeal. Anyway, we went there. So here's some clips of beautiful Bushkill Falls because I was enjoying myself, so I wasn't really recording much. We decided, like literally right before ultrasound day, because I was super nervous about ultrasound day, we went to Sandy Hook Beach, which is right by New York, and that is where I got this lovely burn because I told myself I wouldn't burn like an idiot, and I did burn. And here's some footage of beautiful Sandy Hook. It's gorgeous there. And me rambling, probably, because I honestly don't even know what I recorded. I think the little bird wants to be my friend. So tomorrow is our first ultrasound. I'm super nervous about tomorrow, so this is a really good way to kind of distract myself. You can see like the New York skyline. So then after that, I came home with my husband and I tried to not think about the ultrasound being the next day because I probably would not have slept if I realized it, because I was a nervous wreck. I was thinking the worst because for some reason, that's what us women do. We get ourselves all worked up after transfer about what if I get a negative pregnancy test. Then after we get the pregnancy test, we get ourselves all worked up until the first beta. Then after the first beta, we get ourselves all worked up until the second beta to see if it doubles. And then after that, we get ourselves all worked up for maybe the first ultrasound. And our first ultrasound at my clinic is at around 5 weeks. And that's only because they want to make sure that you have something in your uterus and that it's not ectopic or anything like that. And then after that, you have it for like a heartbeat. So of course I was thinking, what if there's nothing in my uterus? All of this stuff. Luckily there's something in my uterus. Let me see if you can see it on the photo. You might be able to. This was from today. If you can see a little ball, that's just the yolk sac. And then I go back in 10 days and to see if, look for the heartbeat. So I'll probably be a nervous wreck again, waiting for a heartbeat. It's like, it never stops. It never stops. The anxiety never stops. But my HCG was at like 9,380 today. And the other thing is that my progesterone scared me because my progesterone was like my first two betas was at like 37, 38. and then today was at 28. So I asked the nurse, I was like, is that bad? And she explained to me, which I didn't know, that the progesterone in your body is like a pulse. So you have like a range. So she said like it goes from a range. So she explained to me how my range has been like 26 to 38, which is a good range. So basically I learned that progesterone goes up and down. So if you go and you find out that your progesterone went down, it's normal. They'll tell you if something's wrong. But anyway, my HCG was at a good number. Everything's good so far. I'm feeling very happy and blessed with where things are right now, but of course I'm still a nervous wreck. But I did want to give like a little, basically like explanation, or not, how do I even talk? Just what I experienced during the wait for beta, and just maybe a little bit of advice, because everyone can, you know, always use some advice. So my first advice would be that if you are going to be taking progesterone or estrogen or anything like that, I highly recommend the day you start taking it, writing down, even if you do it on the notes on your iPhone or your phone, writing down like what your symptoms are just from that. Because I wish I would have done that, because everyone tells you, like if you look up online on like forums or anything like that, everyone always say, it's just the progesterone, what you're feeling is just the progesterone, you can't have pregnancy symptoms yet. But I was pregnant before too, when I wasn't on progesterone, okay? And there's a lot of similarities there, but not everybody has symptoms. Again, just maybe document how you're feeling day by day after you trigger or before transfer, as soon as you start those hormones, just so you know, because then like after transfer, if you start experiencing something, you can look at your notes of what you were feeling before and you can know it's not the same. Just a word of advice. I had myself convinced that I was going to feel implantation pain like I did last time, because the last time I was pregnant, even though we lost it at 22 weeks, I felt like a significant implantation pain, and I was just waiting for that. So when it didn't happen and when I didn't have that significant pain, I went down like this rabbit hole and I was just like, I'm not pregnant. It was in my head. I was just worried and concerned because I did not feel that. You might not have any symptoms and you might still be pregnant, or you might have a lot of symptoms and you might be pregnant. You really can't compare yourself to other people or other pregnancies, but this is just what I'm going to go through is what I experienced. And I have to say, with the pregnancy last year, I didn't have any symptoms until like 10 DPO. So that's what I'm saying, everything could be so different. So basically the overall theme of what I had is like little twinges that I had in my uterus. I always discount as nothing, because even cycles when I was trying to conceive, like naturally I would have that. So the little twinges here and there, I kind of just discounted. But what was weird was that the day after transfer, I had like a headache and I was moody and I was tired, and that I was not feeling with the progesterone. Like with the progesterone, I was feeling bloated. You know, I didn't have a headache. I wasn't moody. I was tired, but this was like a new level of tired. 2 DPT, again, I just wrote down little twinges. And what was weird is I had like some more significant twinges at night. It was like a pulse. It was basically like, but I was in the middle of talking to my husband when it happened, so I couldn't focus on it. And I even said to him, like, wait, something's pulsing down there. But I just passed it off as the usual twinges and stuff. And when I went and got my blood drawn that day, my estrogen had rose, which was like, I don't know if that's normal or not, but I took it as maybe a positive sign because my estrogen was a lot higher. Now, 3 days past transfer, which I think would have been 8 DPO, I was moody, almost nauseous. So it's that like weird nauseous feeling came. So then 4 days past transfer, I had PMS-y back feeling and belly feeling and period like cramping at night. Like the way I could describe it is when like right before you're about to get your period, you get like weird PMS-y cramping. Every type of cramping that was like alarming was very much like PMS cramping, and it was very similar with my first pregnancy. It was like I felt like my period was about to come. So at 5 days past transfer, and this is what's very interesting, I had a very mild side cramping feeling, almost like the feeling of when you run too hard and you get winded, or if like you start jogging after not running for like 2 years and you get that like side cramp. What was significant about that was that the pregnancy I had last year, I also got rib pain that felt like that same type of like winded, I ran too much cramps. So I got that. Lots of back pain. Like I wrote down back pain after cooking, a weird taste in mouth, back pain at church, because like standing during worship, my back was hurting. So it was a lot of back pain, which is weird for me because normally I do not get back pain as much during my period. Now, 6 days past transfer, I had no symptoms all morning, just minor twinges like around lunchtime, and very minor left rib pain. And that's what was weird because I had left rib pain with the first pregnancy. And then my boobs started getting veiny, which happened the first pregnancy too, where it looks like a road map, which is bizarre. And also, I couldn't sleep because I was so hot. Like I was sweating up. I was like dripping. I was like a rainforest, and I had to pee like twice, which normally I don't have to pee in the middle of the night. So that was weird. I was like, why am I so hot? Even my husband was like, it's not that hot. So on top of that, then on 7 days past transfer, I had a headache, and I basically just felt, it says here, I said, feel PMSy, like I'm about to get period. And then I put in parentheses, it's like the aching of a period starting or you have to poop feeling. So if you know what that means, that's what I felt. And then when I tried to sleep at night, I had almost like PMS cramping, like hardcore PMS cramping, which was significant. 8 DPT, which is when I cracked and test, I had just like gas cramps all day, like an uncomfortable like gas cramp feeling, not period cramps, but like gas cramps. And nothing else, which is why I started to get very negative because I'm like, I didn't feel any significant implantation, I didn't have any implantation spotting or bleeding, and I didn't feel any big implantation pain, and now I just have gas cramps. Like I was in the negative spiral. And then honestly, what's weird is like after that, I didn't have symptoms for, I still don't have massive symptoms except like back pain and being tired. It's like the symptoms right now kind of eased up, so it can play major mind games. But I think like the best way to figure out what's going on with your body is if you write down what happens while you're taking progesterone or estrogen, whatever you're taking, and write down those symptoms right as you start them, like after trigger or right before transfer, and kind of understand how you're feeling with that. Because from my experience, like I said, all of us are different. I only felt like bloated. When I was on progesterone, I just felt bloated and just like kind of not well, but it wasn't extreme. And part of me wonders if, and I could be wrong, I'm not a doctor, but part of me wonders if the progesterone side effects kind of balance out after transfer if you're pregnant, because your estrogen rises and then it's like you don't have higher progesterone than you do estrogen, your estrogen's higher than your progesterone, if that makes sense. That could be it. But those are my symptoms. Again, don't take these symptoms as the golden symptoms. I mean, you could have completely different, you might not feel anything at all, but if you feel any bits of like what you would feel during PMS, I would say that's a good sign, because the overall consensus I had with both times was feeling hardcore PMS symptoms, but it was like a mental battle because I was thinking it was the progesterone. That's why I recommend like writing down what your progesterone symptoms were. But I'm not out of the woodwork yet. I still have to hope that there's a heartbeat and it continues to progress and all that, but I am very grateful that it has progressed this far because it has been a very rough year. Hopefully everything continues to go well. It is probably one of the most stressful things, all of this, which is really bizarre. It's like, I don't know how we deal with it, because it's always something to be stressed about. I feel like with the whole experience. You're stressed about your egg retrieval, then transfer, then you think you'll calm down after betas, then you're worried about your first ultrasound. But I got really, really down on myself during the 2-week wait. It's not even 2-week wait, it was like a 9-day wait. But I got really down on myself because what I did was I started kind of, I put expectations on myself before transfer even happened. I was telling myself in my head that I would know if I was pregnant because I would feel like major implantation cramping, or I was trying to expect what I had the last time to a T, and it was not like that at all. And then so I would say I was like optimistic like 1 DPT to 4 DPT, but then after I didn't feel that like real significant pain, I got down and was like, oh, well, it didn't happen then. Which was stupid of me, but it just shows that you can't go by just symptoms or comparing yourself to others or comparing yourself to past pregnancies, because everything is so different. And also be careful with testing, because if you're one of those people who can test, and if you can test early, and if you could start testing at like 5 days past transfer, and you can stay mentally positive and okay, then by all means do it. But if you are like me, and if a negative test would just make you distraught to see it that early, don't do it. Because I honestly feel like if I would have tested at 5 DPT, especially with how the first response tests are now, they used to be so much more sensitive. I feel like if I would have tested like 5 days past transfer, I would have been negative. I really do. I will let you know how things go. Hopefully we make it back to the freaking beach so I can find a way to even out this red cherry, I don't even know. It's dangers. It's the dangers of using a fake tan. When you use like a spray tan, you in your head think you're darker than you really are, and then you're more bold going out in the sun, and you're like, oh, I'm already tan, but it's fake. And then you burn. Anyway, I will catch you guys later. If you're going through a transfer, I send you lots of baby dust, prayers, and good vibes. And I will give you guys an update next time I get one, and hopefully it's good news. Again, I hope this was helpful, and I will see you soon. So bye.